Dear students, today I am posting my next video on applications of electronic engineering, in which I am going to tell you about instrument display panel, which is on the dashboard of a vehicle. So let's start with the topic, and today's topic will be instrument panel display. Now, what is this instrument panel or display means? It is a display on the dashboard of the vehicle in front of the driver, which will give him the indication of many parameters, like it can tell about the speed in which he is going to drive. It can tell about the fuel in the vehicle, how much it is. It can tell about the oil in the brake and other things. It can tell about the brake, hand brakes, whether they are on or off. It can tell about the left and right indicators. It can tell about the headlight on or off. It can tell about the uh, far beam, which is there, deep light, whether on or off. So all this type of indications, which will help the driver, which will help the person who is going to drive the vehicle, will be there in the instrument panel display, and it is controlled by a computer system in the vehicle. Okay, so here, if you see the basic definition, you can say that instrument panel displays in the form of instrument clusters. Clusters means groups, which act as information sources for the driver. Okay, so all that what is going to indicate in front of the driver acts as information source for the driver. The instrument clusters usually display parameters like speed, revolutions per minute, or RPI. Then you have fuel level, you have coolant temperature, distance traveled, odometer, or trip meter, and various alarms, air individual displays. Modern cars have new features like trip computer, which can give information like average speed, how much it will go, average fuel consumption, mileage per liter, time, and other features. Okay, so this is a general description about what is an instrument panel display. Okay, then again we'll see what are the main parameters which the instrument panel can show. Like say for example, you have speedometer. First one, speedometer, which tells you the speed of your vehicle in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. Then you can have a tachometer, which shows how many rotations your engine is making per minute. Then you can have a odometer, which shows how many miles your car has traveled in its lifetime. So it has a storage also. Now some data, earlier data is stored in memory like EEPROM. Okay. Then you have fuel gauge, which shows how much fuel remains in your car tank. Then you have a gear display, which shows which gear your car is currently in. Then you have turn signal indicators, flash when you turn signals are on. Both will flash if you turn on your hazard lights. Then you have active system lights, which alert you to parts of the vehicle that are activated, such as an open trunk or door. Okay. So all this malfunctioning also is activated, functioning also is activated, malfunctioning also is indicated and shown, functioning also is indicated and shown. What are the important parameters which should be correctly placed while driving? All those parameters will be shown on the dashboard and on the instrument display panel for the driver, for the person who is going to drive the vehicle, to help him to drive smoothly. Then here are some types of instrument panels which you can have in your vehicle or in your car. This is also one type. So you can have needle types also, you can have digital types also. And then we'll go to see the block diagram of the dashboard computer for motor vehicle. Okay. Now, as it is in this block diagram, we have shown the main thing is the microcomputer. So this is your Microcomputer. This is a very important thing. It is the processor which is going to process all your inputs and give the output on the panel, which can indicate or which can show the driver what is the status of the parameters. Okay. So for this microcomputer to work, we should have a CMOS RAM. So here you can have your CMOS RAM. You can have additional RAM. Okay. You should have a power supply which you will get from the battery. So here you have shown a battery. So this is the battery for the vehicle. It is going to give the power supply. This power supply will be used by all the systems here. You can have analog to digital converter. You can have a CMOS clock and alarm, and then you have a additional input output system over here, and these are your input output device interfacing, and here is the input for the keyboard if there is any for the driver. This is for the data indicator, and this is for the control and warning LEDs. Okay, now this system works when you get the proper inputs. Now inputs will be given from sensors. So these are the input signals which are given to your computer system. Okay, now it can be like your digital speed is there, petrol is there, okay, or a gasoline, diesel, injection impulse, okay. So all that sensing of the fuel, so analog tank level, external temperature, brightness indicator, battery state, like this you can have many parameters which can be sensed by various sensors, and those data can be given to the microcomputer. Now, microcomputer with all its memory and execution unit, it will execute according to the program fed in it. And then it will give its indication to the output here. So here you can see you are giving a output here. Now that output signals will be on your instrument panel. They can be warning, they can be bell, buzzer, they can be starting log, they can be horn, they can be additional heater, anything whatever you're going to activate, okay? Anything what you're going to indicate, anything what you're going to display, okay? Now all those things will be like output of your microcomputer, which will assist the driver to have a smooth driving. Okay. Then on the same block diagram, if you have the theory, you can say that new car versions have instrument clusters with microprocessors which can perform advanced functions. Needle-based displays have been largely retained. Stepper motors are used to rotate the needle in these meters, or depending on the function of the displays are replaced by LCD, that is liquid crystal display. Most of the processors based designs used application specific standard processor. So it is a application specific IC what you're going to use here. It's a system on chip. It can be also called as system on chip. So on a single IC, according to your features, you are going to design a IC for the particular performance of the vehicle. Okay, so that IC will be responsible to show all the indications on the instrument panel. Okay, so you can design, it might not be a general processor, it might not be a general microprocessor, it can be a specific standard IC which you have designed only for this work. Okay, so it comes under your application specific standard processors or system on chip SoC. Okay, so in ASSP, that is application specific standard processor, all peripherals like digital and analog IOs, LCD and stepper motor drivers, lamp drivers, etc., are integrated with the CPU core as a single IC. So you are designing this IC specially for this one. This reduces the cost and increases reliability. EPROMs are used to store information like how many kilometers you have traveled in a lifetime can be given by the EPROMs. Then in present day cars, trip computers are used. So you can see in the new cars what you're buying nowadays, you are having something called as trip computers. Now it will give you the future, means what is the fuel you is going to give you, how much you are going to run in the remaining fuel, what is the average speed, what is the estimated time. Okay, all such type of things can be shown by the trip computer. Okay, now these are separate units which are integrated as part of the vehicle's instrument cluster on the dashboard. They provide details like estimation of distance that can be traveled with the remaining fuel, instantaneous and average fuel economics, amount of fuel used, average speed, estimated time of arrival, oil diagnostic indicators, etc. So all these things are included in the trip computers which you get in today's cars. Thank you, students. This was the explanation for the instrument panel display which you see on the dashboard of vehicle, which helps the driver for a smooth driving. Okay.